never mind the Sex Pistols, Here Come the Bullocks live stream. And this is my focus on heavy metal, a little bit of grunge, and punk rock. Those three things are the main genres. And I don't always play them like the originals, but that was the case anyway. You knew that. So kind of the idea behind today is what if Bob Dylan had still become a rock and roll star by sticking on his acoustic guitar? And that's kind of the key question for today. And I was thinking about going back to electric for this, but then something was wrong with my pickup. And so, we kind of got away from me in terms of getting that figured out and fixed and all of that. So I, figured I can still get a pretty good sound out of this acoustic, and I can just plug it in. That's how that's going to work. But this album title is one that I've wanted to use for a long time. And I used to just throw random album titles together before I really mastered writing a concept album. And so it wasn't until I was listening to The Modern World on WEVL, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, that this album really started to take shape. But before any of that, I came up with this idea for a song that was inspired by Our Lady Peace. And one of their songs, they have some kind of heavier metal, harder rock stuff prior to this album. But this is the album of theirs that I'm most familiar with, which is Gravity. And this is track 7 on there, Sell My Soul. And it actually inspired one of my songs called Made of Glass, which made me laugh because there's another song of theirs that's called Made of Steel. So I would have thought, okay, that would have been the song. But this kind of puts two meanings to the word glass, and you'll see what I do with it in just a second. So here's Made of Glass and Sell My Soul. I drove myself wild, I ever thought of you. I was coming down and I was always taught to give and demand a response. Showed I was toxic and that isn't what you want, but you also don't want me. I saw through you're made of glass, but only one of us will break. I saw through you're made of glass. You made me shadow when you made me wait. I got my hopes up that you would try. I was cordial and now I do not know why. I can move on, I can let go, but there's just something that you really ought to know. We were on fire till you lost your desire. I saw through you're made of glass, but only one of us will break. I saw through you're made of glass. You made me shadow and you made me wait. You didn't think I would notice, so you knew I wouldn't care. Now I'm shattered and there's no hope of repair. I saw through you're made of glass, but only one of us will break. I saw through you're made of glass. You made me shadow and you made me wait. I saw through you're made of glass, but only one of us will break. I saw through you're made of glass. You made me shatter and you made me wait. How do you feel? How do you hate? How you wake up with that big smile on your face out in the moon? If I was an astronaut, could I get back to you? I'm out of my head, out of excuses, so I'm staring at the bed. It's you, it's you. I hold on, I can't let go, and you don't know how I feel. Hold on, I set my soul, and you don't know how I feel. I'm losing my pride. I got my initials in the sun. If it would make it shine, I need a fresh start. I was in heaven until this world fell apart. I'm out on the run, out in this empty space. Since this all began, well, I tried. I hold on, I can't let go, and you don't know how I feel. Hold on, I'd set my soul, and you don't know how I feel. Hold on, I can't let go, and you don't know how I feel. Hold on, I'd sell my soul, and you don't know how I feel. All right, and that was Sell My Soul by Our Lady Peace. A really good album. Came out when I was like 10 in 2002. And it was that perfect album for me because I didn't necessarily go through a goth stage. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like I was, really feeling the earlier Our Lady Peace things. But since they were, kind of a punk rock band in their earlier stages in the, I guess, late 90s, I could still kind of claim them as my own. And you'll hear another one of those bands in a little bit. But like I said, that was Made of Glass and Sell My Soul. And that Made of Glass song is really interesting because that's one of those that as I was writing it, it kind of evolved. And I was like, well, what can I see through? That's glass, but glass is breakable. And she made me break. And so I thought that was a really cool contrast that, I'm seeing through you because you're very transparent, but I'm still going to break from this. And, just kind of the whole idea behind the first half of this record is, somebody not trying and you not being able to do anything right. So like in that first verse, it said, I was always taught to keep it cool, to demand a response, showed I was toxic and that isn't what you want, but you also didn't want me. And so it's one of those things where like you do everything right, or at least most stuff right, nothing that's too over the top toxic. And relationship or potential relationship. But then when that's not good enough, it's like, okay, well, what do you really want? And usually the answer is they don't know. Because they'll still be bashing the toxic guys out there and whatever. And it's like, all right. So you're ignoring both types of people. That's interesting. I just want to date a robot, apparently. But anyway, that was those two songs. Now, I mentioned earlier that this particular album was one that I had wanted to do for a while, and I had to keep on telling myself that because half of this album is very positive, so stick with me if that's what you're in the mood for, or if you think that's what I should be singing about. But anyway, this album came about, really was able to take form because on WEVL, the radio station that I listen to, just a great local radio station, there's a show on Fridays that's called The Modern World, and it's named after a song by The Jam called The Modern World. And and it's one of those things that punk rock isn't necessarily my first or even second genre of choice. But this Lee, the host of the show, is just very knowledgeable. He's got this very soothing voice, which contrasts some of the music that he plays. But it's really good music to jam out to on a Friday on your way to work, when you're already kind of over the week and just like, okay, this is my motivation. So I think that's part of it. But I wrote this song. This is called The Camels Back. And the actual person who was the straw that broke the camel's back, that's not who this is about. But if anybody that it could be about is listening to this, then I'll just keep you guessing, and that's a good thing. But this is The Camel's Back, and I am also going to be playing The Modern World, which is by The Jam, and I'm going to be doing both of those. You broke the camel's back. You broke the camel's back. You broke the camel's back. Did you think that I would take? You kept piling up excuses why you couldn't talk. Then one day that well went dry, and you stopped talking without a why. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. This is the straw and it weighs a ton. I really thought that you were the one. Thought those were just things to look past. Then suddenly you stepped off the gas. I should be used to it by now. There should be no sweat there on my brow. Yet it surprises me every time. You are the straw that broke the camel's back. You're not the first and probably won't be the last. Guess you're not so special after all. You make me break, you make me break, you make me break, you make me break. Guess I don't need you to move along with my life. Can't be in love with a ghost who only comes around when their schedule allows. I was ready to close the book. I was ready to make vows. This is the camel's back. He can take a lot. This is just one more of my heart's many nights. Just one more night you tied. After all the ways you lied. You are the straw that broke the camel's back. You're not the first and probably won't be the last. Guess you're not so special after all. You make me break, you make me break, you make me break, you make me break. Guess I don't need you to move along with my life. You broke a camel's back. You broke a camel's back. You broke a camel's back. This is the modern world. This is the modern world. What kind of fool do you think I am? To think I know nothing of the modern world. All my life I've been the same. I've learned to live by hate and pain. It's my inspiration drive. I learned more than you'll ever know. Even in school I felt quite sure that one day I would be on top. I'd be staring down at the map. The teachers who said I'd be nothing. This is the modern world that I learned about. This is the modern world. We don't need no one to tell us what's right or wrong. She said, 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 we don't need no one to tell us if we're right or wrong. Say what you like, 'cause I don't care. I know where I am and going to. It's somewhere I won't preview. Don't have to explain myself to you. I don't give two fucks about your review. This is the modern world that I learned about. This is the modern world. We don't need no one to tell us if we're right or wrong. She said, 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 we don't need no one to tell us if we're right or wrong. This is the modern world. 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 All right, and that was the Camels Back and the Modern World. I hope you enjoyed both of those. Once again, that was kind of my inspiration drive for this particular record, even though it started off with that Our Lady Peace song. I really was inspired to write this kind of song, or write this kind of music, I should say, for this particular album because of that show. And especially if you were in Memphis, but even if you're not, WEVL is a listener-supported radio station, and so they get all of their money from, or at least most of their money from donations. I would say all of it, actually, because, you know, it's not like they're sponsored by anybody. So any like bigger donations, right? That'd be a little bit different, but just phenomenal programming. And you might hear some people, you know, they played a Dan Montgomery song the other day when I was on my way back from work, and he's a friend of mine, and so I'll hear some of my friends on the radio, and it's a cool thing. None of my things, but that's you know, it's cool. I'm happy for my friends. So speaking of Memphis artists, or local artists, I should say, when I was making this album, I knew that I couldn't do a punk rock album without doing a song in the vein of the Replacements, and so I was listening to their album Live from Maxwell's from, I think, like 1986 or something, which is a great album, and that's saying something because they really didn't give good live shows, depending on who you talk to, right? Like, it was good in the sense that that's kind of what people came for, because they would just kind of sabotage their live sets. But in terms of getting a high quality recording, few and far between. But this was one of their songs, and it inspired a song of mine called Conversation. And this is, like I said, a song called Conversation, and the Replacements song is called Answering Machine. Now, I looked this up, and it's on Let It Be, which is a really great album title. They said they were driving around, and they were trying to come up with a name for their next album, and they were like, okay, we're going to name our song, or our next album, after the first song that comes on the radio. And the first song that came on the radio was Let It Be by the Beatles, and they just lost it. They thought it was the funniest thing, and just kind of, went with like the nothing sacred mentality, even the Beatles, and good for them. But the other great thing about that album is it's a very famous album cover where they're all, or most of them are, up on the roof. Bob Stinson is looking out through the window. But the story behind the record, or the album cover, I should say, goes that whoever was, in charge of taking it, had that idea to get the Replacements up on the roof, but the only way that he was able to, talk him into it was to say that he had some drugs up there that they were gonna do, and so that did it. That got him right out there, and sure enough, but. This is, like I said, a song called Conversation, and I'll talk about Answering Machine after I play it. You're looking more replacement, it ain't hard to tell. 'Cause you don't talk to me, and that don't sit too well. I'm trying to strike it up, and we never got off the ground. There's so much I have learned from your silent sound. Can't have a conversation with you, with myself. Can't have a conversation with you, with myself. 'Cause our conversation turned into a monologue. Getting anything out of you feels like a slog. My time is precious, but it's one I'd gladly let you have. Yet our conversation turned into a monologue. Excuses you knew I'd believe, but in my heart I knew it was just a temporary reprieve. Long term we had to learn how to communicate. Gave you so many chances, but now it's far too late. Can't have a myself. Can't have a conversation with you, with myself. I could go all day, but I don't want to be the only one talking. Wish you'd tell me if you were walking. 'Cause every waking minute you decide not to respond is one more minute I could be moving on. You're looking for a replacement, it ain't hard to tell. 'Cause you don't talk to me and then don't sit too well. I'm trying to strike it up, but we never got it on the ground. I learned so much from your silent sound. Can't have a conversation with you, with myself. Can't have a conversation with you, with myself. Try to breathe some life into a letter. Losing no, we'll never be together. My courage is at its peak. You know what I mean. How do you say you're okay to an answering machine? How do you say goodnight to an answering machine? Big time's got its losers, small time's got its vices. A handful of friends, one needs a match, the other one needs some ice. Call wait and moan in another time zone. How do you say I miss you to an answering machine? How do you say goodnight to an answering machine? If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, dial the number. I get enough of that. Try to free a slave of ignorance. Try to teach a whore about romance. How do you say I miss you to an answering machine? How do you say I miss you to an answering machine? All right, and that was Conversation and Answering Machine. First one by me, second one by The Replacements. Great song there. And like I said, that was from Let It Be. The Replacements also have a Memphis connection. Actually, they recorded Pleased to Meet Me in Memphis. And the story behind that album title was them meeting record execs. I'm fairly certain at the Peabody. That's because they just said it was a fancy hotel, but that's really the only fancy hotel in Memphis. And so anyway, they were going around and Tommy Stinson was shaking hands at these record execs and saying, pleased to meet me, pleased to meet me, as he would introduce himself. So that was that. One other quick thing too, I was thinking about this just now, because Maxwell's made me think of New Jersey, which is where it is in Hoboken. And that was a great punk rock scene in the 80s. My friend Dan Montgomery, actually, who I was telling you about, that they played on Weevil the other day, He actually used to run sound at I don't know, it wasn't Maxwell's, but it was CBGB's in over that way, and so that's just one of those things. Kind of a cool connection. He ran sound for Yola Tango back in the day, and a handful of other artists as well. And so really good deal there. But anyway, this next one is a little bit more on the heavy metal side, and this was inspired by Enter Sandman by Metallica, and this is a song called The World Was Not Enough. And I'm going to play Enter Sandman as well. We were good, we were great, my love was so innate, then you threw it all in the trash. Made a fool, made a mess out of me, I guess that's what I get for being bold and brash. You gave up, you gave up, you gave up. I guess the world was not enough. Didn't talk, but you walked, then you ran around in it. I felt fast, thought we last, I was so innocent. Whoa, and now I'm a clown forever, believing again. Really thought I found someone who was not like that. You gave up, you gave up, you gave up. I guess the world was not enough. You gave up, you gave up, you gave up. I guess the world was not enough. Now it's clear you're not here and you never will be. Moving on, now you're gone and I am finally free. I can't talk to me long, yeah, I just can't react. A new lover, and I'm uncovered, but for real is how I bounce back. But one thing will never change, you gave up, you gave up, you gave up. I guess the world was not enough, you gave up, you gave up, you gave up. I guess the world is not enough. Saying prayers, little one, don't forget my son, to include everyone. Took you in, one within, gave you freedom, sin until the Sandman he comes. Sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Exit light, and tonight take my hand. We're off to Never, Neverland. Something's wrong, shut the lights, every thought tonight, and the aeon of Snow White. Dreams of war, dreams of lions, dreams of dragons, fire and all of the things that were mine. Sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Exit light, enter night. Take my hand, we're off to Never, Neverland. Exit light, enter night. Take my hand, we're off to Never, Neverland. Now I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Hush, little baby, don't say a word, and never mind that noise you heard. It's just a beast under your bed, in your closet and in your head. Exit light, enter night, grain of sand. Exit light, enter night. Take my hand, we're off to Never, Neverland. All right, and that was The World Was Not Enough. Yeah, so that song I very much associate with Mariano Rivera, and I reached out to see if you would want to walk out to that song one more time when I played it, and he said, "How'd you get this number?" And I said, "Don't worry about it," and I took that as a no. Same thing with the members of Metallica. I said, do you want to maybe play this since I only have my acoustic really working? And they said, absolutely not. And I said, well, I'd really like for you guys to play it. And they said, absolutely not. And, 500 feet later, absolutely not. So that's just one of those things. So, that was The World Was Not Enough and Enter Sandman by Metallica. Hope you enjoyed both of those. All right, so we're gonna lighten the mood slightly. I've been wanting to write a song in the vein of Survival Car by Fountains of Wayne for a really long time, and their version is a little bit more heavy than mine will be. But I guess I forgot to include power pop, because this certainly isn't punk, but I would say power pop from the 90s, and there will be a couple of those that I'll throw in there as well. But this song was inspired by Survival Car, and appropriately enough, it's called The Road. So I hope you enjoy both of them. To the road we were once riding on. Where did you decide to turn off and get yourself gone? Things were awesome for a while, and there was something you and I lacked. Fine, I'm still not quite sure why you won't call me back. What happened to the road we were once riding on? Tell me, was this your plan you had all along? 'Cause you seemed extremely distant when the calendar turned the page. I guess I paid the price for loving you, I'm making minimum wage. Tell me nothing and I know you can't take it, I really don't need your words. Keep on heading down this path, and one day you're gonna get what you deserve. What happened to the road we were once riding on? The radio used to play only happy songs. Now that it's become so clear that there is no future inside, all that's left to say is I love you and have a good life. All that's left to say is I love you and have a good life. Don't you wanna ride in my survival car? We can take the long way home to Central Park. Funny, I'm running by my wheels. I'm going where the road won't dare, and only riding down the path we made to Union Square. Doing like the young folks do in West Coast towns, plowing like a banshee through the overground. Funny, I'm running by my wheels. I'm going where the road won't dare, and only there riding on the road we made to Union Square. Everybody hit the ground. I think I might have missed my calling. The light's about to change, you better stand aside. Why you wanna walk, don't you wanna ride, 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 ride? You wanna ride in my survival car? We can take the long way home. Funny, I'm running by my wheels. I'm going where the road won't dare, and only riding on the man we made to Union Square. And only riding on the man we made, riding on the man we made, riding on the man we made to Union Square. Don't you wanna ride in my survival car? We can take the long way home. All right, and that was Survival Car by Fountains of Wayne. It was off of their 96 debut album of the same name, their self-titled debut, which is a phenomenal album. And you can hear a lot of Weezer in there too. Maybe not in the way I played it, but we'll get to some Weezer in just a little bit. But speaking of 90s rock, 90s kind of punk, a little bit more in the punk than the power punk. This is a song by Green Day. This actually wasn't released until International Super Hits was in 2001, but it was originally recorded for their debut album, which I believe was Dookie. But this is a song called Maria, and it inspired a song of mine called She's Toxic. And so I'm going to play that first. She likes the confident guys who know what they are wanting, ones who can stand up to her and keep her from haunting. She'll be the one until she's not. She'll be your son and let you ride. She loves to chase but hates getting caught. She's toxic. She's toxic. She's toxic, though she claim that you are. She's toxic, she's toxic, she's toxic, and she will leave you scarred. She's got her way to help you out when things are moving. She'll keep you hanging on 'cause you remember when she was worth it. She'll give you just the minimum. You'll give all, she'll give some. She'll be your son and she'll let you ride. She loves to chase, but it's getting caught. She's toxic, she's toxic, she's toxic, though she'll claim that you are. She's toxic, she's toxic, she's toxic, and she will leave you scarred. She probably thinks that one day soon you will forget her. She thinks you'll allow her this thing, but you won't let her. This is a warning for all you chums who insist that she is the one. She'll be your son and she'll let you ride. She loves to chase, but it's getting caught. She's toxic, she's toxic, she's toxic, but she'll claim that you are. She's toxic, she's toxic, she's toxic, and she will leave you scarred. She's toxic, she's toxic, she's toxic, though she'll claim that you are. She's toxic, she's toxic, she's toxic, and she will leave you scarred. She smashed the radio with the Board of Education. Turn up the static from the state of the nation. Turn on the flames, step on the gas. Burning the flag at half-mast. She's the rebel's forgotten son, an export of the revolution. She is the first voice of the last ones in the line. She'll drag the Lincoln game, the vendetta alive. Bringing the heaven government, the dog in the document. Somebody shot the president, and no one knows when Maria went. Maria, 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 where did you go? Be careful what you're offering. Your breath lacks conviction. Drawing the line in the dirt, because the last decision is no. She smashed the radio with the Board of Education. Turn up the static left of the state of the nation. Turn up the flames, step on the gas. Burning the flag at half-mast. She's the rebel's forgotten son, an export of the revolution. Maria, 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 where did you go? Maria, 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 where did you go? All right, and that was She's Toxic, and I hope you enjoyed that. That song kind of revitalized the album a little bit. So normally when I do an album with two different themes, usually one of them negative and one of them positive, I usually split it up and do 6 songs on one side and 6 on the other. But I came up with the line of she loves the chase but hates getting caught. And I was like, ooh, I don't really have a project for this, but I think I know how to fit that in. And so since it became a negative song, then I had 7 negative songs and 7 positive songs instead of 6 and 6. And so you get 2 bonus songs on this live stream, which hooray, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I really like that, and I think there's definitely something to that line. She loves the chase but hates getting caught, and I mean, that's a little bit of all of us in some senses, but just that, like, you like being sought after, but then once somebody's ready to commit, then you're like, oh, wait a second. And that's kind of what happened with this particular one, that, it was just like, oh, I like the attention. But then, after a while that fades. And so then it's just like, oh yeah, I like that you're texting me and are being that desperate, but I'm not going to respond, and because that would be getting caught rather than still being in the chase. So that's unfortunate, but we'll see that turnaround on the next couple of songs, or after this one, I should say. Then we'll flip the record over and go from there. But this is Best of You by the Foo Fighters. Or I should say Foo Fighters. I don't think they have the article in there. But this is a song called The Bar. And like I said, it was inspired by Best of You. And yeah. One other thing too, before I forget, when I was playing that replacement song earlier, I knew there was one other thing that I wanted to say. Bands from Minnesota bands or groups, artists, whatever, seem to have a thing about voicemails, because there's a song in the Dan Wilson song called When It Pleases You, where he says, I call you when I want to hear your voice whisper, or my voice whisper in your voicemail's ear. So apparently that's a theme of Minnesotans getting their heart broken. But this one is Where You Go When You Get Your Heart Broken. But that's not how I used it in context. This is The Bar and Best of You. Hope you enjoy both of them. Are you there? Do you have more reasons you won't respond? I've been wondering why the hell it's been so long. I've been racking my brain to find your pain in what I may have said. Is there something I lack? Does someone else match my love? Does he rewrite your drive to take the bar with me and rise above? I got another question for you. Do you think of me when you're blue? Do you tell him about your bad days, or like me, do you push him away? I hope it takes 2 men and me for you to see that you deserve the dub. Tell me, does he light you dry to take the bar with me and rise above? color and the shade. I talked you up and you weren't that great, 'cause you ignored my calls. I crawled the walls, all because I thought you found a new man who reminds you drive to take the bar and rise above. Tell me, does he remind you drive to take the bar and rise above? I got another confession to make. I'm your fool. Everyone's got their chains to break, holding you. Were you born to resist or be abused? Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you? Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you? Are you gonna move on to someone new? I need somewhere to hang my head without a noose. You gave me something that I didn't have, but had no use. I was too weak to give in, too strong to lose. My heart is under arrest again, but I'm breaking loose. My head is giving me life or death, but I can't choose. I swear I'll never give in. Yeah, I refuse. Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you? Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you? Has someone taken your faith? It's real, the pain you feel, you trust, you must confess. Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you? Has someone taken your faith? It's real, the pain you feel, the life, the love, the night to heal, the hope it starts, the broken hearts you trust, you must confess. Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you? Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you? All right, and that was The Bar and Best of You by Foo Fighters. And The Bar was by yours truly. Yeah, so that song was actually used as a campaign song for John Kerry. And Dave Grohl has said, yeah, a lot of people, myself included, think that it's about relationships and all of that, and it does. It fits very well in that regard as well. But apparently that's a political song, so now we know. So this next song is one I actually hate to admit it, but I discovered on Guitar Hero. And this is a song called Surrender. Now, of course, I discovered it on Guitar Hero, but I actually took the time to learn how to play it on real guitar. So that's the difference there. That's how I can get away with that. But it's interesting because the intro to this particular song reminds me of the intro to Strapped for Cash by Fountains of Wayne, who we played a little bit ago. Not that song, but Strapped for Cash is similar to this intro for Surrender. But really good song, really weird rhyme scheme for Surrender, which I didn't really notice until I was really working it out this time out. But I hope you enjoy both of them. This is a song of mine called Whisper, and then Surrender will be after that. I despaired with no man, that when I know I cheating tricks, but nothing did sting, and only led to tears. But you making me like heaven tonight with your touch and your words. I feel like I'm closer to the land of Harrisburg. I've gone so long with love being gone and being games of commonplace. You whisper, and then you let me finish the race. I can't take it, I can't fake it, I don't mean a rush. Well, I gotta mean a rush. When you talk to me or in the moments I get to feel your touch. It ain't under picture life spent in each other's arms. What remains out at this point is seeing my past on. I've gone so long with love being gone and making games of commonplace. You whisper, that you let me finish the race. Tell me all the things nobody has had the guts to say, like how you love me, never want our love to go away. You get me in a special way, and I know the supplies. So let's pick out a Saturday to buy the rest of our lives. I've gone so long with love being gone and being games so commonplace. You whisper, that you let me finish the race. I've gone so long with love being gone and being games so commonplace. You whisper, that you let me finish the race. Mother told me, yes, she told me that I'd meet girls like you. She also told me, stay away, you'll never know what you'll catch. Just the other day I heard of a soldier's falling off. Some Indonesian junk that's been going round. Mommy's alright, daddy's alright, they just seem a little weird. Surrender, but don't give yourself away. Father says your mother's right, she's really about things. Before we married, Mama was in the whites in the Philippines. Now I enter the wax recruited old maids for the war. But Mommy isn't one of those, I've known her all these years. Mommy's alright, Daddy's seem a little weird. Surrender, surrender, but don't give yourself away. Whatever happened to all the seasons, losers of the year? Every time I got to thinking when they disappear. But when I woke up, Mom and Dad are rolling on the couch, rolling numbers, rock and rolling, got my Kiss records out. Mommy's alright, Daddy's alright, they just seem a little weird. Surrender, surrender, but don't give yourself away. Mommy's alright, Daddy's alright, just leave a little away. Surrender, surrender, but don't give yourself away. All right, and that was Surrender by Cheap Trick, and before that, I played my own song, which is called Whisper, that was inspired by Surrender by Cheap Trick. The funny thing about Cheap Trick is they have that song, they have I Want You to Want Me, which is a great subjunctive use song. It's on that subjunctive playlist. And trust me, when I taught subjunctive, I did see him crying. But anyway, the interesting thing about Cheap Trick, their Memphis connection, because there's always one. They did a cover of I need to look up the name of the song, but it was the theme song for that 70s show. And it was written by Big Star, a group out of Memphis here. And they did a cover of it. And I always thought that it was an original Cheap Trick song. But it was not. In the Street. That's what it was called. I knew the first line was Hanging Out in the Street. And I didn't know if it was called Hanging Out or In the Street. But it's In the Street. So that is that. Like I said, that's a Big Star song cut by Cheap Trick. And that was a cheap trick because they could have just gotten the Big Star version of it, but that was a little bit more expensive. So that is that. So I forgot to mention, but you guys probably pieced it together on your own because you're intelligent individuals, at least most of you, that are tuning in. Because most of my friends who are tuning in are smart individuals, and I'm assuming that if you're a stranger and you're tuning in, then you're pretty smart too. But anyway, this is the more positive side of the record, and there's a reason why it's the B-side, but it's the journey, I guess. So anyway, this is a little bit more along the new wave genre. But this is a song called Bombastic Vagabond, and this was inspired by Girl You Want by Devo. Now, I do want to just point out this Bombastic Vagabond. This is another reference. There's one in the last song, and this is another reference to something related to Josh Ritter. So first of all, in the last song, I said, closer to heaven than to Harrisburg. or closer to there than to Harrisburg. There's a line in a Josh Ritter song that says it's a long way to heaven, it's closer to Harrisburg. So if you wondered why I was just randomly putting Harrisburg in a song, that was why. But anyway, in this Josh Ritter lyrics group that I'm a part of, there's this question that I posed, and then it led into a broader discussion. And somebody said they used the term bombastic vagrant. A lot of the characters in his songs are bombastic vagrants, and I thought that was a really cool way of putting it, more concise than how I usually put it, but I thought that's a good idea for a song too, and so I changed it to bombastic vagabond because that was easier to rhyme with. But it was inspired by Girl You Want by Devo, and so we're gonna play both of those. Been so long just trying to find the girl that will never ever leave my side, the one whose love will never be gone, the one who's no bombastic vagabond. I think I found the one. I said that in the past, then they moved on while I was trying to make it last. But I kinda like this road I'm on, with a girl who's no bombastic vagabond. Well, there's a fire to grow. Well, there's a fire for to grow. Better by the day, even if it's in the smallest of ways. Yeah, I'm tired of all these stepping stones. Now thanks to her, I won't have to be alone. Well, there's a fire. When there's a fire in her to grow better by the day, even if it's in the smallest of ways. Yeah, I'm tired of all these stepping stones. Now thanks to her, I won't be alone. Everybody knows about my good thing now. Everybody's open Italy to vows. Everybody's happy, I'm singing happy songs about someone who's no bombastic vagabond. I got the girl who's no bombastic vagabond. She sings from somewhere you can't see. She sits high atop the greenest tree. She sends out an aroma to find love. It drips down from the mist above. She's just a girl you are. She's just a girl you are. You hear her calling everywhere you turn, but the words get stuck on the tip of your tongue. She's the real thing, but you knew it all along. She's just a girl you are. She's just a girl you are. Look at you and your mind wandering, look at you and your mind spinning. Why don't we just admit it's over now. She's just the girl you want. She's just the girl you want. She's just the girl you want. She sings somewhere you cannot see. She sits atop of the greenest tree. She sends out an aroma of undefined love. It drips down from the mist above. She's just a girl you are. She's just a girl you are. All right, and that was Girl You Want, and before that, Bombastic Vagabond, my original song that was inspired by that Devo song, same record that Whippet was on, Power of Choice, I want to say, was the name of the album. But really good song, heard that on Weevil the other day, and thought, hey, I will add that. I actually did, I heard it on The Modern World, so it's a lot, like I said, not just punk rock, but a lot of new wave, garage, all of that. And Lee always says, whatever you call it, we just call it good music. And that's what it is most of the time. Actually, I would say all of the time. I've never heard a song on there that I haven't liked at least a little bit. Now, if we're talking about punk rock, my dad always insists that the original punk rockers were the Who, and hard for me to disagree with that. Now, this next song was inspired by "Who Are You," which my brother and I used to sing when on my grandma's intercom whenever we would go to visit her. She had this intercom button, and you'd press to talk and whatever, and so we would sing that. And it was funny because she would always say, like, "Oh yeah, you and your brother always." Would sing that song from CSI, and it was like, yeah, my brother and I were huge CSI fans, at the age of 8 and 6 or whatever it was. But really good song, "Who Are You?" So I'm going to play that as well. But this is a song called "Where Have You Been?" and "Who Are You" will follow. Where have you been? 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 It ain't been all that long, I said, since you and I last spoke. Then I looked at the calendar, and 5 years had just flown. Then my mind got put in reverse, wondering if I'd ever fall. But out of nowhere you saw something, and you answered the call. I wonder where you've been. Where have you been? 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 I've had so many stepping stones on the ground where I gotta walk. It haunts me thinking about how at any time they could decide not to talk. With zero explanation, but I guess I had to hurt to be able to know all the good things that I deserve. But I wonder where you've been. Where have you been? 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 day would come where I'd be over the moon. But I know I can't leave your side, and I hope the same of you. There isn't nothing I want more than your love to never retire. I wanna wake up with you every day so I can continue to be inspired. Now tell me where you've been. Where have you been? 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 Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? I woke up in a Soho doorway, a policeman knew my name. He said you can go home and sleep at 9 a.m. You can get up and walk away. I staggered back to the underground and a breeze blew back my head. I remember throwing punches around and preaching from my chair. Well, tell me, who are you? Who are you? Who, I really wanna know. Who are you? Who, tell me, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? I took the tube back out of town, back to the rolling pin. I felt just like a dying clown with a streak of Rin Tin Tin. I stretched back and I hicked up and I looked at my busy day. 11 hours in the tin pan, God, there's gotta be a better way. Oh, tell me, who are you? Who are you? Who, I really wanna know. Who are you? Who, come on, tell me, who are you? Who are you? Who, oh, who the fuck are you? Who are you? Who, I really wanna know. Who are you? 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 I know there is a place you are where love falls from the trees. My heart feels like a broken cup, only feel right on my knees. I spit out of the sewer hole, yet still receive your kiss. How can I measure up to anyone now after a love such as this? Oh, tell me, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who, I really wanna know. Who are you? Who are you? All right, and that was Where Have You Been and Who Are You? Two very good questions. That's that. Yeah, I remember hearing that song from a really, really young age, and I guess my dad probably played the radio-friendly version because I didn't remember the obscenities until I heard it a couple of years ago. But it's funny. There's a scene in the show Louie. Where Louis C.K.'s character, he's like on a road trip or whatever with his daughters, and Who Are You comes on the radio, and he just starts jamming out and like singing along and whatever, and it gets to the like, who the fuck are you part, and he just like really leans hard into that F-bomb, and it's just like, for comedic effect, it's very, very funny. Really makes me laugh. But that's a really good song. Technically, that was my third F-bomb, because um, uh, for the modern world, I should say, when I played that, he mentioned how he didn't give two fucks, and so there's two of them right there, and now we're up to four. So lucky thing this isn't the radio, but censorship in songs is really criminal. And we have Tipper Gore to thank for that. So really, really just appreciate that a ton. Out of all the stuff you did in office, that was definitely the best. And actually, that's a genuine statement. But no, I don't know. She probably did some other actually good things, but that was pretty ridiculous. Anyway, so we're going to move forward a couple of decades to Nirvana. But before we do, I do want to actually just point out something about my song. So there's a line in the third verse that says, "I never thought the day would come when I'd be over the moon." That, for those of you who didn't catch on, that was a little bit of a dark reference, because "Who Are You" was Keith Moon's last album with The Who. And it's eerie because he, on the album cover, he's sitting in a chair that says "Not to be taken away." And then he died like 3 weeks after that. And so it was really, really bizarre that was the case. But now you have me to make jokes about it. So hey, there we go. But anyway, we're gonna, like I said, move on to some Nirvana. I will not be making any Kurt Cobain jokes. You will be happy about that. But this is a song called "Step Into Light," and this is one of those where the phrase just kind of kept on going in my head, similar to that last one, "Where Have You Been?" And I have a couple of other songs like that too, but that was just kind of in my head. "Step Into Light," and "Come As You Are" was as well. And the funny thing about this song is, the context under which I wrote mine, is a student of mine. I was talking about how we were going to be having a fashion show in school and whatever, and as part of my Spanish class. And I said, "But don't worry about bringing any, outside clothing. Just, come as you are." And this kid says, "You can't say to come as you are. You're not Nirvana." And I was just like, "I will give that to you. That is a solid reference for you to know." And so that was kind of in my head. And so the next day, I wanted to write a song like "Come As You Are," and that's what came out. So this is "Step Into Light" and "Come As You Are." Step in the light, you just might be the end of what I've sought. You haven't looked so inane that it just cannot be taught. It's not pretend, make more than friends. Is how we were meant to stay. Step into light, in the light. I like you better that way. Step into light, into light. Take me from my lifelong blight. This road I'm on, I want it gone. Even if my arm falls through, there is you, and it was you all along. In the line, push the other flames aside. I'm the one, I'm the one, and you know you're just my type. Hold me now, hold me when I am last to the world. Step in the line just when it looks like everything else will unfurl, will unfurl. Come as you are, as you were, as I want you to be, as a friend, as a friend, as a known enemy. Take your time, hurry up, choice is yours, don't be late. Take a rest, as a friend, as an old memory, 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 memory. Come doused in mud, soaked in bleach, as I want you to be, as a trend, as a friend, as an old memory, 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 memory. When I swear that I don't have a gun, no, I don't have a gun, no, I don't have a gun. Memory, 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 memory. And I don't have a gun, and I swear that I don't have a gun. No, 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 I don't have a gun. Memory. All right, and that was Step Into Light and Come As You Are. Hope you enjoyed both of those. Those are some scary lyrics, given what happened to Kurt Cobain. When I swear that I don't have a gun, I don't have a gun. There were a lot of his lyrics that he just kind of somewhat fit, to be 100% fair. But that, like I said, that still is rather scary. But cheering things up a little bit, this is Playing My Game. And I promised some Weezer earlier. This one was inspired by Buddy Holly. The song, and I'll tell a funny story about that song in a second here, but this is Playing My Game and Buddy Holly, and both of them are kind of taking shots at people who want to give advice that's a little bit unsolicited when you've been doing some good things, and finally it's coming your way. So but people are still like, oh yeah, that was the right thing to do. Yeah, I know it was the right thing to do. But anyway, this is Playing My Game and Buddy Holly, and I hope you enjoy both of them. People in my head telling me all the ways I can get the one. They're knocking and they're victim blaming, like those are things that I ain't done. I'm out here on the defense, 'cause finally my world's making sense. I don't need your backhanded chimes telling me to do what I've been doing all this time. I'm not saying I'm counting on forever, but you can forever leave me the hell alone. I'm doing fine without your constant whispering. She's now playing instinct didn't need to change. You know it was always there, but even when I did everything right, nobody seemed to care. If I'm as good as you claim, why you tell me that I need to change? I don't need your sage advice, I just need somebody to not think twice. I'm not saying I'm counting on forever, but you can forever leave me the hell alone. I'm doing fine without your constant whispering. Now she's playing my game. Yeah, I'm doing fine without your constant whispering. She's now playing my game. Shut up, shut up, shut up, and let me do what I do. If there's something wrong, I sure as hell don't wanna hear it from you. I'm not saying I'm counting on forever, but you can forever leave me the hell alone. I'm doing just fine without your constant whispering. She's now playing my game. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm counting on forever, but you can forever leave me the hell alone. I'm doing just fine without your constant whispering. She's now playing my game. She's now playing my game. What's with these homies dissing my girl? Why do they gotta front? What did we ever do to these guys to make them so violent? Woo-hoo, but you know I'm yours. Woo-hoo, and I know you're mine. Woo-hoo, and that's for all of time. Ooh-wee-oo, I look just like Buddy Holly. Ooh-wee-oo, and you're married Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. Don't you ever fear, I am always near. I know that you need your help. Your tongue is twisted, your eyes are slit. You need a guardian. Woo-hoo, and you know I'm yours. Woo-hoo, and I know you're mine. Woo-hoo, and that's for all of time. Ooh-wee-oo, I look just like Buddy Holly. Ooh-wee-oo, and you're married Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. Yeah, I don't care about that. Bang, bang, knock on the door, another big bang, and you're down on the floor. Oh no, what do we do? Don't look now, but I lost my shoe. I can't run and I can't kick. What's the matter, babe? You feeling sick? What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter with you? What's the matter? Are you feeling blue? And that's for all of time, and that's for all of time. Ooh-wee-oo, I look just like Buddy Holly. Ooh-wee-oo, and you married Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. Yeah, I don't care about that. Yeah, I don't care about that. All right, and that was Playing My Game and Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly was, that song was written by Rivers Cuomo, just basically about the media, who was, kind of saying like, well, he and his girlfriend look kind of weird together, and all of that. And I wrote my song, Playing My Game, just because I've had people say things like, like, oh, did you pick up the tab? And, like, yes, I did. And, oh, yeah, people like it when you do that. I'm like, yeah, no, I know that. And I've been doing that. It's just a matter of, do people appreciate that? And, so it's one of those things that it just gets frustrating when you're doing the right thing and it's the right thing. But because it goes wrong, people assume that it's your fault that it went wrong. And, sometimes it has been, but most of the time it hasn't been, and I've been given zero explanation. And so, that's just one of those things that playing my game, the idea of somebody playing my game is that like somebody finally appreciates the effort that I put forth and is vocal about that. And so, it's one of those things where like you keep doing what you do and it's exhausting. But eventually you'll find somebody there. And that's, in the works, we'll say. It's probably the best way of putting it. But this next song is by Incubus, and I was trying to think because I was on the positive side of the record, and I was like, okay, Incubus has a lot of negative songs, and they're great, but I was like, okay, what's one? And they have this song called "Dig" that I thought would be a good vibe for this particular record, and so this is a song called "One Day" and "Dig," and I hope you enjoy both of them. If I told you all the things I've heard, you'd render me absurd. Then you'd miss spot on with that analysis. Maybe you could put a final end to this. You're like a mirror of experience. It ain't been all that long, yet you would be the one. I guess I was made for these wrong turns. They all led me to you to make the fire burn. So hold me closer to all I wanted. For a name thus I am in honest. But you threw that all away, did not know it was you, but I knew happiness would finally come one day. We both have monuments and melodies. We both have demons, mine have been mortal enemies. But you get a kick out of who I am, and I feel like I can finally trust again. You're like a mirror of experience. It ain't been all that long, yet you could be the one. I guess I was made for these wrong turns. They all led me to you to make the fire burn. So hold me closer to all I wanted. For a name plus I am in honest. But you knew that other way, did not know it was you, but knew happiness would finally come one day. So hold me closer to all I have wanted. For a name plus I am in honest. But you threw that all away, did not know it was you, but knew happiness would finally come one day. Your happiness would finally come one day. We all have a weakness, but some of us are easy to identify. Look me in the eye and ask for forgiveness. We'll make a pact to never speak that word again. Yes, you are my friend. So when weakness turns my ego up, I know you count on me for yesterday. We all have something that makes it us. At least we dig each other. If I turn into another, take me up from under what is covering. The better part of me sing this song. Reminds me that we always had each other when everything else is gone. We all have a sickness that cleverly attaches and multiplies. Look me in the eye, no matter how we try. We all have someone that digs at us. At least we dig each other. So when sickness turns my ego up, I know you'll act as a clever medicine. If I turn into another, dig me up from under what is covering. The better part of me sing this song. Reminds me that we always had each other when everything else is gone. Know each other when everything else is gone. Know each other when everything else is gone. All right, and that was Dig by Incubus and my song One Day, which was inspired by that Incubus song. Yeah, it's a really good song. Probably my favorite off of that Light Grenades album. So I just have two more, one more original and one more cover. And this ended up working out really nicely the way that I arranged things. So, well, not the first half of the album. I wouldn't say I arranged that. That wasn't on me. But the last song on the first side of the record was inspired by Best of You, which is a little bit more of an angrier song, at least the way that I interpret it. And this next one was also inspired by a Foo Fighters song, but this is Everlong that it was inspired by. And this is a song called Belong. Now Everlong will forever, I will forever associate that song with David Letterman. And the reason why is the song was released in like 97-ish, and they were on this just like massive world tour. And I think they were playing in like South America at the time. And Dave Letterman was just coming back from this heart surgery, I believe it was, and he requested that the Foo Fighters play Everlong on a show because they knew him and he loved that song. That was his favorite song of theirs. And so it required him to cancel some shows or maybe just reschedule them. But Dave Grohl, being the good guy that he is, said, absolutely, I am all for that. And so they did it, and they played the song. And then when for Dave's last show, they did this video montage, and the Foo Fighters played the song again, Everlong. And so that song, in my mind, and probably in the mind of a lot of people who watch David Letterman, that song will always be a part of that show's history and all of that. And so that's a really, really cool thing, I think. But anyway, this next song, like I said, is one called "Belong," and it's just kind of reflecting on when a relationship is going well, but kind of mixing in some of the stuff from when it's not going well, and saying that, like, hey, that's not the case now, and that's a cool thing. So this is "Belong" and "Everlong." What to do with a love this wondrous? Where do we go? I've been out this old manly moiling nowhere. Now got patience and I don't need to be scared. You're really trying to extend our expiration date to all those others, and then the journey would be worth it. To all the people who I once were wrong, I guess I made a new apologize. I finally feel like she and I both belong. Now I am lost inside your maze, but I'm alright. As long as I'm somewhere in your world, that's a good life. But I know we're gonna be much more than what I thought. My anger, it taught me how to love, and now I'm glad. You're really trying to extend our expiration date to all those who said that the journey would be worth it. To all the people I once were wrong, I guess I made a new apologize. I finally feel like she and I both belong. To all the ones who said the journey would be worth it. To all the people I once were wrong, I guess I made a new apologize. I finally feel like she and I both belong. I finally feel like she and I both belong. Hello, I've waited here for you ever long. Tonight I throw myself into and out of the red, out of her head she sang. Come down and waste away with me, down with me. slow how you wanted it to be. I'm over my head, out of her head, she sang. And I wonder, when I sing with you, if everything could ever be this real forever. If anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I ever ask of you, you gotta promise not to stop when I say you when. She sang, breathe out so I can breathe you in and hold you in. And now I know you've always been out of your head, out of my head, I sang. And I wonder, when I sing along with you, if everything could ever be this way forever. If anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I ever ask of you, you gotta promise not to stop when I say you when. If everything could ever be this good forever. If anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I ever ask of you, you gotta promise not to stop when I say when. When I say when. All right, and that was Belong and Everlong, the second one by the Foo Fighters, the first one by yours truly. That was a really interesting record, I felt. It was some new territory for me, not in terms of what I was writing about, but in terms of stylistically and all of that. And I hope you enjoyed that. It was when I started practicing that last week, it was a little bit choppy the first time out, but I felt like that was a pretty refined set. Little mistakes here and there, but I hope you still enjoyed it. Again, that album is called Nevermind the Sex Pistols, Here Come the Bullocks. And yes, that is referring to Sandra. I did that very intentionally. But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed that, and hoping for some more like the last 7 songs. But we'll just see how that goes. Don't want to jinx it too much. Put the ox before the cart, but that is one of those things. So next week I'm going to do something really fun, and I might have a special guest on the show as well. But next Wednesday marks the 50th birthday of Carole King. Well, Carole King's album Tapestry. Carole King's a little bit older than 50, but that's just a phenomenal album. And so I'm going to pay tribute to that album next week. It is going to be at a special time slot. I got something going on Saturday, and that's going to be that. But Friday, that show, we're going to play Tapestry, maybe in its entirety. I may leave out one track, and I think you might already know what that track is, but that's a little bit dependent on if I can get the special guests, which may or may not be Carole King. I'm not going to say one way or the other, but she might be streaming in. So just stay tuned next week. Carole King might be appearing on my show. Never know. But stay tuned for that. Like I said, that's going to be on Friday, the 12th of February. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. And be sure to be on the lookout for the playlist that comes with the show every week. This one's going to be a little bit more varied than the last couple of weeks, but that is quite all right. So I appreciate you guys checking me out on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, of course, Instagram and Facebook, all as Minnesota Mike. Thank you so much.